Welcome to Face on Ntr Tv. I'm your host Zubair Hussain, and today I have with me a lovely guest. Her name is Nancy Ibrahim. She's from Syria, and she is currently a third-year computer engineering student at Middle East Technical University in Ankara, Turkey. So let's meet our wonderful guest.
Hello.
Hello, Nancy. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me, Zubair.
You're welcome. Now, let's get right into it. You are a computer engineering student at Middle East Technical University,
Yes.
and you are from Syria.
I'm from Syria, yes.
But you also mentioned that you're not just Syrian. There's a little bit of background info there.
Yes, I am from Syria, but I am ethnically from the Caucasus Mountains, also known as Cherkess here, Circassian. I'm from the Caucasus Mountains. I go back and forth to Russia, where the Caucasus Mountains are.
Wonderful, that's excellent. So let me ask you this. When was the first time that you came to Turkey, Ankara?
I came to Turkey in 2019. I came to Turkey first to Istanbul to check it out on tourism for a few days. I stayed with family, friends, and then I came back again to apply, get all my paperwork ready for METU. I checked the city out. At that time, I came to Ankara, I checked the university, the campus, the city, and then I came once again when the semester started. But that was all in 2019, in the summer.
I see. So what universities did you apply to while applying to Turkey?
I applied to many universities in Turkey. I applied to Sabancı in Istanbul. I really can't remember every university I applied to.
Of course.
I applied to Bilkent. I applied to Başakşehir in Istanbul. And I applied to METU, obviously. I actually got accepted in Sabancı. I went there. I was in Istanbul. I checked Sabancı. But I felt like it was a little too far, and when I came to ODTÜ, or METU, also known as METU, I liked METU more, and I decided to stay with METU.
Excellent. So I have to ask, why did you like METU more?
Well, there are many factors. One of the factors, I read a lot about it, and it had a good ranking. The computer engineering department in METU is well known in Turkey, one of the best in Turkey or in the Middle East as a whole. So that was impressive. And I had a friend in Russia. I met her, and she's Turkish actually, and she was studying.
What a coincidence.
Yeah, she was studying in METU, and she transferred to Russia because she wanted to change her department. She wanted to study medicine, which is not available in METU. And she told me a lot about the university, and I really liked the vibe and the culture and the community that she described. So I decided maybe it's best if I come and check it out, if I apply and I look it up more. And it was very affordable for international students and also for Turkish students. It's a very affordable university. And the campus is huge.
Yeah.
That was a plus. So we have a forest, we have 2 lakes, and yeah, it's a huge campus.
Yes, I have to say, Middle East Technical University is well known for its beautiful campus and also for the standard of its education, as you rightly mentioned. So, how did you apply for Middle East Technical University? Would you say the application process was simple? Was it accessible? What are your opinions on that?
Actually, the application process to METU as an international student was very easy. It was, we just had to do it on the website itself. We just had to send our certificates, and I think we had to write a motivation letter. I applied to many universities. I applied to the UK using UCAS, and in the UK, applying to the UK was much harder. Applying to Canada was very hard. Applying to METU was very simple compared to all the other universities I applied to, which kind of, I like that a lot. It kind of eased me into the university.
That's great. And would you say the application process overall for Turkey was quite simple as well?
Overall, it was simple relative to other countries. It was just straightforward, online, and very clear. Everything was on the website.
Okay, let me ask you one of the big questions, or rather one of the more open-ended questions. What made you choose Turkey? What made you decide What made you decide to say, yes, I want to go and study in Turkey?
Well, again, there are many factors. One of them was because Turkey, I come from Syria, and our culture is similar. I like the Middle Eastern culture. I like the food. I like generally. The weather is similar also. So I felt like I didn't want to go very far away from home. I wanted to feel at home, especially in my undergrad. I wanted to give myself the ability to be able to. Yeah, I wanted to explore not just the academic side of things. I wanted to give myself more ability to join student clubs, join other things, and be able to be comfortable. Because if I applied to the UK, I applied to the UK and I got accepted, but going to the UK was too expensive, and even if we were able to afford tuition fees, it would be very stressful managing the whole finance side of things, because it's obviously much more expensive than here. Here I am comfortable, my family is comfortable, and it removes a big part of stress from me and from my family.
I see.
So that was one factor. The culture. The second factor is it's really affordable for us, and the third factor is that it really is METU was one of the main reasons that made me want to go to Turkey. It was mainly about METU, because I told you I heard a lot about it from my friend, and I was impressed with it, and I loved the culture. I loved. We have multiple things in METU actually, we have the hitchhiking. It's very common in METU. I'm not sure if it's very common in other universities, but because our campus is huge, you always find people hitchhiking at the side of the road, and you find students in their cars, or professors, they stop for you, you go with them. I actually met very interesting people hitchhiking. And then there's the word hocam that came from METU originally, which means, it didn't come from METU, it just means my teacher. But in METU, we believe that you learn from everyone. So you call your peers hocam, and it spread from there to rest of Ankara and then to rest of Turkey. So when you meet a random person in the street, you just say hocam. It's like a kind of a respectful way to address someone.
Yeah, what a polite way to address people that you don't know. It's wonderful. So now I would like to ask you about any extracurricular activities that you're doing besides schoolwork. I know schoolwork can be very busy, but maybe let's take some focus away from that and focus on something that you actually enjoy doing. I would like to ask you about any extracurricular activities that you're involved in. I've heard that Middle East Technical University has many, many clubs for their students. Are you a member of any of the clubs?
Actually, I am enrolled in ESN METU.
What is that?
ESN METU is a club that helps Erasmus students or exchange students that come to METU. We help them, we host them, we help them around, we help them with their paperwork, and then we also create events for them, parties for them, and we try to bring them all together and give them a wonderful experience in our university. So I am a member in that. Actually, I just enrolled in it this semester, and it's really, really fun seeing people from different countries, seeing people from different places, and it's really nice. Everyone speaks English in there. Everyone is just very welcoming and very nice to everyone. It's a great family, a great community.
Wow, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Would you say it's a wonderful way to make friends on campus?
Actually, I was struggling a bit with that, because most people on campus, they tend to speak, they're more comfortable speaking Turkish, and my Turkish isn't really that strong. So that was one of the clubs that really I felt very welcome into, and it was amazing. And we have a host training this weekend, and it's a full thing. And we're part of ESN Turkey, which is part of ESN Global, like an international ESN club.
So what are ESN Turkey and ESN Global?
They're just, ESN Turkey just kind of has all the ESN, each university has an ESN club, most universities. And ESN Turkey is kind of, they have the bigger trips. For example, they took us to Bursa the other day. We went to Eskişehir, then Bursa, then Uludağ. And there was a trip to Antalya, as I remember. They host really amazing events. They really do a great job. It's really wonderful what they do. ESN International, I'm not very sure. I'm not very aware of what are the things, because I'm new to the club, but they also really, and we have standards in ESN clubs generally. We have to do a few things that are standards, like
what do you mean when you say standards?
for example, there was the social inclusion week. I'm a member of the social inclusion team. We're supposed to, or we held already, like we held a language club, and we're supposed to spread awareness about some things, and that's a standard for all the ESN clubs. On social inclusion week, you have to do more activities, more events that are about like social inclusion.
Wow, that sounds really great. It sounds like you guys are very well prepared. Sounds like you guys provide a very holistic experience for all the international students who are on exchange, who might feel lonely because they're so far from home. Yeah.
Our job is I remember my boss, or the leader of our club, she said we are supposed to give them the best or the most wonderful semester or year of their life, depending if they're staying on semester or year. We're supposed to give them the best time, and it's really great and amazing. Helping these people out, have fun. You just have fun with them. You really learn a lot about them. There are people from all kind of, like from Europe, from France, from Germany. Then you have people from America. You have people from Indonesia. You have people from anywhere you can think.
Wow, it sounds like you've made a very diverse group of friends from this club.
Yeah.
And I also picked up that you have been traveling around Turkey. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? What places have you been to? What was it like?
I've been to Istanbul, of course. I think everyone's been to Istanbul.
Who hasn't, right?
Yeah. I've been to Istanbul multiple times. I've been to Cappadocia.
Wow.
Yeah. I saw the big balloons.
Did you happen to go up on one of the balloons?
I would just watch them. I'm a bit scared. I have a problem with, I get dizzy and.
You have a fear of heights?
Not really fear of heights, I just get super dizzy.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, and I've been to Antalya. I've been to Eskişehir. Unfortunately, the Eskişehir-Bursa trip, I couldn't continue. To Bursa, I was a bit sick.
Okay.
And I've been to Kızılcı Hamam. It's around Ankara. It's close to Ankara. That's all I can think of, actually. I need to go to more places.
Excellent. I hope you will very soon. Which would you say was your favorite city out of the cities that you have visited?
I can say definitely Antalya.
Ooh.
I love sushi, and the sushi in Antalya is amazing.
Really?
The city is wonderful. It's calm. It's clean. It's beautiful. It's amazing. I love Istanbul as well, but Istanbul is just a bit too crowded for my liking. It's very hard to get from one place to another. But Antalya is very nice. It's and the old town in Antalya is just a beautiful place. I really would recommend anyone who's planning to come to Turkey to
visit Antalya.
To visit Antalya, for sure.
Well, I will definitely pass that recommendation along to our viewers. If you are planning to visit Turkey anytime soon, you've got it from Nancy. Definitely visit Antalya. In fact, I should make a note to go there on my next vacation. Yeah. So, I want to ask you this. You mentioned that you didn't have much of a culture shock when you came to Turkey. So you would say that your experience with Turkey has been generally quite positive, right?
Generally speaking, yes, it has been really positive, and I'm very grateful that I'm here. It's very easy to get by. The people are really warm. The Turkish people are really warm. When you need help on the street, people will help you. Your neighbors are nice to you. Of course, it's not a general rule. Not everyone's going to be kind to you. But people are warm and welcoming, and the people generally, when I've come here, I just found that everyone's very warm, very welcoming, which is why I didn't have a culture shock, because it's very similar. The culture is similar, as you said, and I was lucky to make friends here, to have a great time, to meet Turkish people. It was a great time.
That's great to hear. Yeah, I have to say I definitely agree with you on that. I experienced very similar things when I first came here. I'm from Bangladesh, so our cultures are not very similar in Turkey. But I think we are very fond of people from different cultures in our country. And I think in Turkey, this attitude also exists in Turkey. That has been my experience in Ankara. whenever I'm lost or whenever I need to find something, I find that it's always okay to ask someone on the street. And usually they're very helpful. They will point you in the direction. If you're very lucky, they might walk with you to the place. And then this sort of got me into this as well. You know, I've done this on occasion because I've gotten so used to people doing it, and I feel like I should do it too.
Uh-huh.
I remember 2 years ago, I was on an internship program, and I was going to take the metro home. And then I saw this young woman, couldn't have been more than 19, 20 years of age. And she's looking around, she looks quite lost. So I go up to her and I say, are you looking for something? Can I help you, ma'am? And she says, I'm new in Ankara and I don't know my way around. I'm trying to get to this place. I applied for a scholarship here.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, my helpful instincts just kicked in because I've seen other people do it here too. And I thought, yeah, I might as well contribute to this culture. And yeah, I just told her where to go. It was nice, yeah.
It is. It really is the community. And one thing I love about Ankara is that it's known as a student city as well. Of course, there are a lot of officials here, but it also has a lot of universities, and it's really nice, the student community. For example, in our university in Metu, we have a very strong student community, and it's known that once you graduate, we help each other out. We stand up, like, we always stick out for each other. We help each other, and I know that for other universities it's the same as well. And it's really nice, you know, like you go to, let's say, Bahçeli,
Mm-hmm.
of course, Tunalı, and these places, you meet a lot of students. The vibe is just wonderful here. Students
I
vibe.
definitely agree. I think Ankara is a wonderful place for students. Even though everyone says that Eskişehir is the city for students, I would say Ankara is definitely one of the cities that are great for students as well. The transport system is great and it's very cheap. And like Nancy said, she's 100% right. There is a very strong and tightly knit community of students. Not just students from Middle East Technical University, but all the students in Ankara. There are online forums and there are physical forums that students can be a part of. They can meet and talk to other students, and they can help each other out with their courses, or if it's for their social life. It's just in general a very vibrant and positive community in Ankara. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the Middle East Technical University campus. What would you say is your favorite part of the campus?
It's a hard question. It's a very big campus, and I told you we have 2 lakes.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is so far because of how big the campus is. You can't go. If you go there walking, it's like hiking for 3 hours, 3.5 hours. To
Have
get
you
there.
been to any of the lakes?
I've been to both lakes.
Oh.
The bigger one, Emir, Golu.
Mm-hmm.
It's we had to take the bus. We had to take a car from outside the university to go to it. It's very far. The other lake you can go to walking, but it's also a little far. You need to walk for like 30 minutes from the closest dorms to get there. And my favorite place, I would say, if you walk, there's a certain dorm, dorm 8. There's a dorm. If you walk through the forest and you walk a bit up and you hike a bit up for like 10-15 minutes, you get to this like hill. And from the hill you can see the entire campus, you can see the entire forest, and it's so beautiful. And if you go there in the sunset, it's a perfect spot I found, and not a lot of people.
I have to agree, there are some wonderful sunset views that you can have on the Middle East Technical University campus.
It's really great. It's that little spot, I just know not a lot of people know about it, and I'm not really ready to share it yet. It's a very beautiful spot. There are other places people love to go to. There's this other hill that you find a lot of cars parked there, and people just sitting in their cars with their loved ones or their friends, and just watching the view at night. You can find a lot of beautiful things in Metu, and yeah. But my favorite place to sit in is it's a very common place for all the students to sit in. It's Kocatepe.
Okay.
You have different places.
The coffee shop on campus.
Yeah, the coffee shop on campus. Although it's very normal, but it just has that Metu vibe, and you go there and you see a lot of people you know, and everyone, like even the people who work there are very friendly. Now they know me by my name, I know them by their names. That's what I love about Metu a lot, is how closely tied everyone is. And it's interesting that as I worked with Erasmus students, a lot of them tell me, I really want to stay here. I wish I could stay more. I know a couple of them that actually went and tried to talk to their professors back in their countries to extend a semester. Some of them say they want to graduate from here. People really love it, and they love the campus. They love being able to walk, and they love the friends. So it's actually like a popular university, like relative to like other people coming from different countries also really are enjoying the stay in Metu.
Yes, I think you're definitely right. It's such a wonderful community, and really the vibe on campus is unmatched anywhere else, in my experience too. I have to agree with you 100%. Dear viewers, we will be back very soon with more about the student life and campus life in Turkey, in Ankara, just after this short break. Hello and welcome back to Face to Face, only on Ntr TV. Before the break, I was here with my guest Nancy Ibrahim, who is from Syria, and she's a third-year student, Middle East Technical University. So we were talking about her life in Turkey, and she's been telling me that so far it's been wonderful. There's a wonderful community, the campus is wonderful, and she's generally been having a great time in Ankara. But now, I would like to ask you about maybe some of the not so great times that you had here. After all, we can't just focus on the positives, we have to look at the negatives as well. So what would you say have been some of your biggest challenges that you faced on campus in Middle East Technical University and in Ankara, Turkey as a whole?
Speaking of the challenges now, I can think of quite a few. First of all, the language barrier is a problem here. Although my university is in English, as I said before, people are much more comfortable in speaking in Turkish, so they prefer to speak in that. So it can be hard to find your way around. Of course, when you ask someone, they reply in English, but for example, making friends might be a little harder for an international student. Unfortunately, most of the student clubs only speak in Turkish. They try. There have been clubs that we talk to. For example, there's a club, C club in my university. It's a computer club. We tried to talk to them, and they were very welcoming. And we opened a branch called Yabancı.
Oh, okay, Yabancı. That means foreigner.
Yeah, and we tried. When we go to their meetings, someone sits at the back with us. He translates everything. It's wonderful, but it's a little troublesome. It's a little problematic. Generally in the clubs.
So I gotta ask you, how is your Turkish?
My Turkish is biraz. It's çok iyi değil. It's not very good. It's okay. I can get away. Like in the streets, I can manage. But if I have a Turkish friend, it might be a little hard to communicate only in Turkish. Has to be more dominantly in English.
I see. Would you say that Turkish is an easy language to learn?
I would say it is an easy language.
Oh, I see. Okay.
It is an easy language. I've learned mostly from the streets.
Oh.
I went to a course once for around a month. It was very helpful, but generally it's a very easy language to learn if you try to. But because I haven't really had much time to just sit and take it all in, I didn't get to do it to the level I would like to have my Turkish.
Well, I agree. I think you've presented that in a pretty nuanced way. Turkish people are very warm, yes, but the language can sometimes be a little difficult. I faced some of these difficulties as well when I first came here. I definitely didn't know any Turkish beforehand, and I had to pick it up very quickly as I went along.
How's your Turkish now?
My Turkish is pretty darn good, if I say so myself.
That's great, actually.
I usually get compliments on my Turkish, which is nice, you know. Again, I guess that just goes to show the warm spirit of the Turkish people. They're very forthcoming with their compliments.
Yeah. You know, what's very interesting is, although I live in Turkey, and I know a lot of foreigners who live in Turkey and still don't speak Turkish, I have around 3 girlfriends that learned Turkish purely from watching soap operas and TV series in Turkish. And it's crazy because I have Turkish friends and they talk to them. And these girls are not even in Turkey. They're mostly in Russia.
Wow.
And yeah, and they talked, my Turkish friends talk to them in Turkish and they reply and they're very fluent. And I'm like, how did you do that? And they're just like, just watch the soap operas. And soap operas here are 100 episodes long. They're very long. And okay, I'm just not going to learn it. I'm just going to learn from the streets and be satisfied with that. But yeah, that's why I say it's an easy language, because I know people who learned it without actually sitting down and studying each word or like learning, memorizing, because that never really helps.
Yeah, that's how I learned it, for example.
Oh, memorizing that.
Yeah, I didn't go to grammar classes. I didn't take any courses, actually. And even the mandatory course at university, I'm just taking it now, this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just like you, I learned my Turkish from the streets, talking to my friends, and I would say it was a great way to learn it, too.
Yeah, it's definitely better than trying to memorize, and of course the grammar is important, but sitting there and learning it, like memorizing, it never really works for any language.
Definitely, you're right. And something else that you've just reminded me of, Turkish soap operas, TV soap operas, I think are one of Turkey's bigger cultural exports. I mean, yes, Turkish pop music is pretty famous, I guess, in the Middle East region. That's what I've always heard, but I guess this time I can ask you for confirmation. Is that true?
Honestly, the pop music, not very much. Of course, there are some songs that are everywhere, but the soap operas, yes, for sure.
Right, because I know even my parents back in Bangladesh, they watch Muhteşem Yüzyıl.
Oh my God, yes.
The Magnificent Century, yeah.
Everybody watches that. You know, in Syria, everyone watches that. I've been to Saudi Arabia. Actually, I lived in Saudi Arabia for 10 years. And everyone watches that. And then I went to Russia and everyone's watching it. And you go and you buy chips and you get these little stickers or magnets on the fridge. And they're of like Mustafa, the Sultan's son, or Hurrem, like the wife. Or it's all over it. People love it. They love the culture. I think it's a very important, or a very nice thing, because it attracts a lot of people into Turkey because they want to see that culture, and some people have no idea what Turkey is like, and then they see that and they want to come to Istanbul and they want to check the palaces out. It's a great thing.
Yeah, which is true actually, because I actually have a story about that. So my uncle, I have this uncle, and he's a doctor. He's a pretty respected liver specialist back in Bangladesh, where I'm from, and he constantly gets invites to all these conferences and symposiums abroad. And then back in 2019, he got invited to do this symposium in Istanbul. So the organizers flew him all the way to Istanbul, and then they arranged a hotel for him. It was all great. And now he's a big fan of the show. So is his wife, my aunt, and his kids, my cousins. So the moment they all heard that he was getting invited to Turkey, everybody just jumped on the bandwagon. They just snapped at the chance. And they all said, you have to talk to the organizers. You have to get us into this plan as well. Make this kind of a family thing. Let's take a family vacation. And then they all flew to Istanbul. And then obviously the moment they got here, they called me. They said, hey, we're in Istanbul. You should definitely come visit. And I did. And what they were all most excited about was going down into the cisterns of the Hagia Sophia.
Oh.
Yes, and you know that they have this great little tourist photo shoot where they give you the clothes of the sultans, and you can wear their clothes and their jewelry, and you can take a photograph. And it was like, this is all they came to Turkey to do. They just came to Turkey to look like the actors on Muhteşem Yüzyıl.
Yeah.
And it was wonderful.
Honestly, it is really nice. I would love to go and wear that and take a picture. I haven't had the chance.
Well, I suggest, since you've already been to Antalya and all those places, this could be your next adventure.
Yeah.
Go to Istanbul, go to the tunnel. Yeah, and try that out.
Definitely.
So I want to ask you, you seem to have a very diverse community of friends. Do you have any Africans friends living in Turkey, maybe at Middle East Technical University?
Yeah, I have African friends in Middle East Technical University. I had more friends, African friends in Saudi Arabia and in Russia. There are not a lot of Africans in Metu, but there is a community actually, but there are not many. And yeah, I have a couple of friends. I have some friends from Kenya. I have some friends from Nigeria. That's mostly where. Of course, there are people from Northern Africa, like Algeria,
Or
Egypt. Yeah, Egypt. There are a lot of people from Egypt.
I actually had an Egyptian roommate in my second year in college. Yeah, great guy.
Yeah, a lot of Egyptians on campus actually.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So, what do you think? Your African friends, what has their experience been? You know, since they're your friends, I'm sure you can see what sort of things they're going through on Metu through your eyes. What is the African experience in Metu or in Ankara?
I don't want to speak only from I want to talk about what they've told me, and generally speaking, I don't think they face any problems, like big problems here, but some of them do sometimes mention a few things. But if, again, like, it's generally speaking, Turkey is a great place and people are warm, but you can find some rude people who can be a little racist to Africans and to other countries as well. But the majority of people are actually nice, and I've heard that from my friends as well, that here in Turkey it's actually a very accepting community, and people are very welcoming, very open-minded. And yeah, but you can face, that's the problem. You see, most of the people here, you hear things, and you think, oh, maybe if I go to Turkey, it might be a little problematic. But then you go to Turkey and you realize actually most people are nice, but there are a few people that give that impression on you and makes you be like, oh, like, why you're being rude. But generally, in my experience especially, most of the people have been nice.
I see.
And my African friends, as far as I know, as far as if they told me, it hasn't been really a problem for them in Turkey.
Yeah, I think most of the Africans I know in Ankara are pretty successful
actually,
people.
I've been once to an African party, and it was an amazing party. There was they had an African party, and I didn't know. As I said, in Metu, the community is not very big, but then when I went to this African party, there are a lot of people there, and I just realized, like, actually, Ankara has a lot of Africans.
Yeah.
But Metu especially, I haven't seen a lot. Don't know a lot.
Yeah, but yeah, I definitely agree with that. Ankara has a very large and thriving African community. I've actually been to some of the events myself as well. And they were always very warm.
The parties are amazing.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah,
they really know how to party.
Yeah. It's really fun when you go to an African party. Just the vibe is different. Everyone's just having fun, just dancing and full on. Yeah.
And they have great food.
Yeah.
So speaking of parties, that naturally leads us to talking about the nightlife in Ankara, and as a student at Metu, for example. So what has been your experience with the nightlife here? And I know that you've been organizing some parties as well. Yeah. Yes, so please tell us more about those.
Yeah, the nightlife in Ankara is nice. It's amazing, especially if you go to the right places. Yeah, you have a lot of clubs, you have a lot of bars, you have a lot of parties, and you can find really good music there. The vibe is nice, everyone's just dancing, everyone's just having fun. So generally speaking, nightlife is amazing. The parties we organize, we try to make them more private, a little bit more private, so it doesn't get very crowded with random people. We try to make it more for the Erasmus. But it's also really nice, and you see dance moves from all over the globe.
That really does sound fun.
I would say the nightlife in Ankara is pretty up there, especially in Tunalı, Bahçeli, these places. Yeah.
Those are the places to watch out for, you say.
Yeah.
So going back to campus life, maybe I could ask you about this. What's a typical day on campus like? Let's say, what is a Monday on campus like for you? And what is a Friday or a Saturday on campus like for you?
A Monday, I would say, right now I have all my courses online because of the COVID situation, but generally, if I didn't have that, it would just mean waking up in the morning, running to class, because the campus is huge, you have to just run from one place to another, and running to class, attending a lecture, then you have another lecture, you run again, you keep running all over the place until you have your break. You can go to the cafeteria and have lunch there with your friends. Generally speaking, around 4 p.m., 3 p.m., you're done with your lectures. So after that, you might go to the library and study. For me,
And what's the library like on campus?
it's really nice, actually. It's big, and they're making a new one, which I'm excited for because it's closer to my house.
Ah.
Yeah, I'm very excited for that one. So yeah, usually just going to lectures, then going studying a bit in the library, then at night just hanging out with friends, playing cards. That's a Monday. A Friday is more like once it's night, you go to somewhere, a restaurant or a cafe, or maybe you go to a bar with your friends.
And are there a lot of nice restaurants around campus and in Ankara?
Around campus, not a lot, honestly, but there are some nice cafes, but you can't find great food there. So if you want to get great food, you kind of have to go a bit further, which is a problem in Metsu. Yeah, it is. The food around you don't have a lot of restaurants. The options are a bit limited.
So you would say, I guess, maybe the city center for all the great restaurants.
Yeah, the city center, Kizilay, for example, or Bahçeli, they're amazing for the food. And this makes me like, this is also another challenge for me, is that because of that, I kind of learned to cook, and I kind of put a lot of time into cooking, like just started cooking everything. And it's really good, it's healthier, and kind of just help you find.
And I assume you've lived in the dorms on campus. So what was like, since you started cooking, you said, how were the dorm amenities vis-a-vis kitchens and cooking?
I didn't start cooking in the dorms because cooking in the dorms, the kitchens are big, you can cook there, but I didn't find it very comfortable for me to cook there because you have to take all your pans and go there. Although there are clockers for each student. But it just didn't, because I moved out of the dorms very early on.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, in the second semester. Once the lockdown started and the COVID situation started, all the Turkish people, all the girls in my dorm left, and it became a little problematic, and there were problems with the dorm and with the sanitation. Because of COVID, of course, they had to be extra careful about everything. So I just decided to move out. I live very close to campus. And it's just from that COVID situation, I just stayed there.
Right, and actually speaking of the COVID situation, which has affected all of us all around the globe, what would you say your experience of the lockdown was? Since I know that you've probably traveled back and forth between Russia and Turkey, so I'm guessing you've experienced lockdown in both places. How would you say they compare? What was your experience of the lockdown in Turkey? Was it unbearable? Did you manage to get through it quite well? Tell us more about that.
When the lockdown started, I kind of wanted to, because all the airports would close, and because of that, I decided to stay in Turkey all this time. So I stayed for almost a full year in Turkey until I left back to Russia, or maybe for 6 months. I'm not really sure. It's just that 2020 year. Even the beginning of 2021 is just blurry.
I think we all lost track of time in that year.
Yeah, it's just blurry. There's this like brain fog everywhere when we talk about 2020. But generally, I stayed in Turkey and for the entire time because I didn't want to go to Russia, and then it locked down in Russia. Can't go back here, and my lectures. What if they got like face to face here? I didn't want to take the risk, so I decided to stay here. And when the lockdown started here, everyone left to their countries. It was really hard to stay because it was very lonely. There was no one around. Unfortunately, you can't really have a community of people who stayed because you can't meet because it's lockdown. There are safety measures. You can't do anything. And the vaccine at that time was not out. So on top of that, you're also scared for your own health and the health of people around you. So, of course, I had multiple corona scares. And when you live alone, it can be scary too. You're not living with your family, so it's a little scary. And of course, every time I get a little sick, my parents freak out. What if you have corona? What if you have this? Who's going to take care of you? and there are not a lot of my friends. Most of them left, so that was a very hard time.
So if something had happened, who would have taken care of you?
I did have a few friends around,
Okay.
like I can count on them, but it's just you have them, they're there. Just it's not like family. When you have family around,
Of course.
you have
It's never the same.
yeah,
yes.
you have your mom to take care of you, to feed you some soup. But I stayed in the lockdown. Actually, I had very bad days in the lockdown because for 15 days straight, I stayed at home, and then I would go out one day, and then I would stay like 10 days straight at home with not seeing a single soul, which I regret. I think going out for a walk is very important. Do not isolate yourself.
Yes, I think if anything, the pandemic has taught all of us that we should all go out for walks as often as we can.
Yeah, you can't just lock your door and stay at home because it is unbearable sometimes. So after the corona situation is done, I'm just want to go. I can't stay at home anymore. I just want to go out and about.
I think Ankara is a great place for going out and about and taking a walk. I think.
Yeah. It definitely everywhere is just greenery everywhere. It's a lot of parks, there you have the mountains as well. You have many lakes. You have, I don't know if you know about Tuzgulu.
Tuzgulu. I've heard of Tuzgulu. I haven't been there myself.
Tuzgulu, I've been there. It's a salt lake, and it's literally means salt lake. It's actually very important spot for flamingos. And
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you see flamingos when you went there?
Unfortunately, I went in the winter and I didn't know much about it. But after that, I went back home and I'm just like researching about it, and I realized we can see flamingos there. So
Time to make another trip there, I would suppose.
Yes, exactly. And especially in the spring when it starts raining a bit, you'll find a lot of. It's a very important place for flamingos in the Middle East, in Asia even. So that's great places you can find in Ankara.
Well, viewers, that brings us more or less to the end of our program. I'm here with Nancy Ibrahim. She's a student here in Ankara. And we've just been talking about her life on campus in Ankara, in Turkey in general. And it has generally been very positive. Even during the lockdown, there are wonderful places to go out for a walk. There are great restaurants. And Middle East Technical University is a very warm and wonderful university with a wonderful campus, with a great library that she mentioned. Outside of that, I think what it says in general about Turkey is that Turkey is a very warm and accepting country in general, and it's a great place to study your undergrad.
Yes, it really is.
Yes. So that brings us nearly to the end of the program. Nancy, it has been a genuine pleasure to have you here in our studio.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Join me next week on NTR with Face to Face. I'm Zubair Hussein, your host.